conversations we are having with community basketball legends around the country and through rural and regional Australia. The exercise is to identify people who have made key contributions, large contributions, to their local basketball communities and who have a passion for the sport. The key question to ask these people is why basketball? Why are they so passionate about basketball? And hopefully by the end of the series, we'll have the full answer of why the sport is so attractive to so many people. With me, I have Darren Hoffman from Whyalla Basketball Association. So I'll just let Darren introduce himself to you.
Yeah, well, my name's Darren Hoffman. I've been involved with basketball since I was 10 years old. I'm a bit of a basketball tragic. Lived in Whyalla all my life. Been involved in Demons Basketball Club since I was 10. Became a club member before I turned 20. I've been there ever since.
And Darren, just for people around Australia, where is Whyalla?
Whyalla's 400 kilometres from Adelaide, on the Eyre Peninsula. It's the second largest city in South Australia, regional South Australia, in the outback. It's hot here.
I do have memories of a hot Whyalla. Darren, just with basketball, your first memories of basketball and what was it that attracted to you at that time, at that age?
I guess my family were never basketballers. I came into basketball as a 10-year-old when I didn't take to football. I was too frail and skinny to be a footballer. I was a kid they gave to the other team. So yeah, I didn't like football. I was looking for another outlet. I joined the local basketball association and yeah, I loved it. It's a team sport. I love the team environment, being indoors or rather in the rain. Yeah, it's great.
I guess it leads to the key question, and I did spend some time in Whyalla. I'll have to tell people that I spent 4 great years in Whyalla, and I have great memories of people that were very influential at that time. You know, there's a Barry Waddingham, Val Robson, Alan Castle, Elaine and Bruce Dunn, who were fantastic workers for basketball at that time. John Kirby was a legend in his own right. Gunter Scheide, a lot more people like that. Who are the people that you have respect and very good memories of as either coaches or administrators?
Yeah, sure. As you've already mentioned, Bruce Dunn is a big one for me. Bruce Dunn was one of my first coaches in my club, Demons Basketball Club. He taught me a lot. Another basketball tragic. He's been around forever. He put a lot of time into basketball, and I really respected him for that. Into umpiring, coaching. His son were great players. His eldest son has moved on to much greener pastures as a assistant CEO to the NBL now, isn't he? I think, Stephen?
Yes, I think you're right. And he was interim CEO, and he's on the board.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess other ones, Gunter Scheide, you mentioned Gunter. Gunter was on the management committee when I first started management committee in the 90s. He was a great leader for the association. I remember a lot of the decisions and the way he managed himself in that role. Learned a lot from him. From players, I guess you're much older than me, Mike. I don't remember you being here, but yeah, the players.
You weren't even born then.
I wasn't going to say that. I guess the player that I can remember most from my youth is Darren Quinn. Darren Quinn is a local legend here. He left Whyalla in his early 20s to pursue a basketball career in the C-ball competition, I think it was, playing for the Woodville Warriors. Did very well there. Came back to Whyalla and has dominated our local competition. Won more premierships than anybody else, more MVPs. Like I think he's won like 20 men's A-grade MVPs. He's 45 years old and he's still starring in a men's grade competition. We played Masters. I actually played Masters with him a couple of years ago in Adelaide, and a lot of great basketballers in the Masters. but he was the most athletic one. I don't know how he stayed so agile, but he paced for it the next morning. But no, yeah, he's a great basketballer. Still is.
Yes, I guess it sort of begs the question that why basketball? I mean, what is it about basketball that makes everybody so passionate and contributes for so long?
Yes, I don't know. For me, it's a bit of my personality, really. I like to. I don't like to give up on things, so I'll give it a crack and stick with it. Most things I've tried, I've yeah had that same sort of attitude, stick with it, and help to develop the sport. And that's something that I'm just passionate about. I guess that's a personality thing for me.
Well, Darren, I was in my recent visit to Whyalla was incredibly impressed by the work you've done with the area of the history of documenting the history of the basketball club, basketball association. You have a visible diorama type presentation, a physical one. You have a wall at the back of the stadium which is totally covered with the history of players, MVPs, championships, etc., going back to the 50s and 60s, I think. In fact, it's probably the best presentation of the history of a basketball club I've ever seen. What was it about? What was it about documenting, putting this time and effort in, about the history of the association that gave you the drive?
I guess the drive came initially, I believe at the time, it may have even been through Gunter, the president at the time, where the association didn't recognise any of its past. And I thought that was a bit sad. And we started to look at it, and our association has been around since 1960, or I can't remember now, 1955 it might have been, something like that, when we started. And we had records. Enid Littlemore, another life member, Patricia Kemp, another legend I forgot to mention before, who's been involved in basketball for some 50 years. They had these records, handwritten records from forever, and stuck in a cupboard. And I felt that was a bit sad. We needed to get that information out to, let people see it. And we talked about the traditional, like a life members board, but we had so many records. We played 2 seasons here, summer and winter, so over some 50, 60 seasons. That's 120 records and it was just too big. It was going to be, the whole wall was full of just text. So we tossed different ideas around of how we can display the information, and someone came up with the idea of a basketball one. So we dedicated a basketball, like a 600mm diameter basketball per season. And every ball has the MVP and the premiership men and women on it. And we've just built that every year. So every year a new ball goes on the wall, to the point where, as you've seen, we've pretty much covered one whole wall of the basketball stadium now. We might have to extend the wall, I think, if we keep going the way we're going. But yeah, it's taken on, and it looks good.
I think it looks fantastic. I mean, I think you might have to just build an extra court because the association is, I understand you've got 3 courts, you've got 1,100 playing members. You just have to expand. But no, the history. But I guess the question comes down to, why is it so important for clubs to document and chronicle the history? And I'd just add that people want to go to the Whyalla Basketball website. There's a massive amount of data there as well. But why do you think it's important for clubs to document the history of their sport?
I don't know why. I think you just have to. I think it's important. People come back and look at it. I get a lot of feedback from it. That inspires me to do it. When people do look at that, like I know yourself, when you came to the stadium, you spent quite a bit of time glaring up at the wall there.
Yeah.
That inspires me to keep it going. I've had a lot of help doing it. Haven't done it by myself. A lot of that information has come from people who have that same passion. So yeah, when we get together, try and keep all the information that we gather.
And I gather Lawrence may have had a hand in it. He's the current president. What's his brief history as administrator?
Lawrence came on board, oh God, now you're testing me, in the mid-2000s. His son's a very talented basketballer. Tried to crack it in Adelaide. Yeah, very good player. Lawrence himself has got his name on the wall there, I think. If it's not, it should be. He's a basketball legend within his club. Still is. Still battles along. I think he said he was 50 this year. I think he holds the record as the oldest male basketballer currently playing, which he's not proud of, but he still towers them up.
I think I would like to be able to say that I'm still playing, but that has eluded me in recent times. Darren, the final question, I guess, is, you know, Whyalla's a totally volunteer-run organisation, which is rare in this world. It's at full capacity, maybe some talk of building and upgrading a new sports centre, but what is your vision for Whyalla Basketball down the track?
Yeah, that's a good question. My vision. I'm proud of what we've done and where we've come from. We have built our membership up. Whyalla, like I said, I think we were the second largest regional town. We might have been overtaken by Mount Gambier now, I believe. We are a diminishing population. So we did struggle there for a while, and our basketball membership did drop. But we have brought ourselves back up by being cost effective to the community. We got realistic pricing, gate entry, registration fees. I think we've got a very even competition. We've worked hard at the association. I'm passionate about giving children opportunities to grow and play in an environment that's conducive to development, and we work hard at structuring our junior competition in that way. I think that has all helped us to grow. So you said we're at full capacity, which is true. I don't know whether we have the population to extend to another court. So I don't know whether that's my vision. My current vision is to get air conditioning. We've just had to replace our leaky roof, and we're playing about air conditioning, and that is causing us all sorts of grief at the moment. So that's my current short-term vision. I guess I'm not a visionary. That's Lawrence's job as president. I just do as I'm told and look at more short-term goals. But yeah, my vision is to keep the juniors going and develop our associations as juniors, give an opportunity for our juniors to develop into our A graders, something we've struggled to do as an association. What about our fantastic junior players don't progress to the senior grades, which disappoints me. We've got such strong junior support, but I don't know, they hit puberty and go off and do other things. It's not uncommon, I guess. University also hits us hard. A lot of our juniors move on from Whyalla for schooling, so we suffer from that. I shouldn't say suffer, obviously the kids, that's fantastic for the kids, but yeah, we lose a lot of juniors that way.
Well, can I just interrupt there for a moment, Darren, because I think from Whyalla, I mean, I know a few people, players, coaches that have gone on to play at quite significant levels. The years that I spent there, Kim Borrett played national juniors for Australia, made a senior national squad and played NBL for a few years. You must have, you know, more recent and quite significant players and coaches that have left the town and made their mark elsewhere.
Yes, we do. The most obvious one right now would be Angela Marino. Angela Marino is a Whyalla girl. Her father, Vince, owns the Lightning. They've obviously been very high profile, and Angela's a fantastic player. Vince is he's bringing the Lightning back to Whyalla a couple of times now, and is looking to do that again in the future, which is great for Whyalla basketball. Gives us, you know, we're proud to say that our venue and our facility and our volunteers are able to to hold like a WNBL game in such a small community with great support, crowd support, and club supports. It's great. The other one at the moment, Shannon Tarrant, a young girl from Whyalla. She's in the Lightning squad. That's fantastic for Shannon. Chris Blakemore, 36er. I don't know, back in the 90s, would it have been in the 90s, Chris Blakemore?
Yes, I remember him early to mid 90s, and I think he played. I think he played some time in Canberra as well. I think he started there.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I think you're right.
AIS, and then went to Adelaide, and I think he then went back to Canberra.
Yep. He was a couple of years younger than me, and I remember as a junior, I would try, because everyone would rave about Chris how great he was, and he used to have muck around matches, and I used to match up against him. I was about 3 years older. He grew quite a bit after that, and overtook me. Yeah, no, he's great.
Well, Darren, I'd like to thank you for your time this evening. I think it's been a very worthwhile exercise, and I don't know if we got an answer to why you are so passionate about basketball. I guess I don't expect an exact scientific answer from anybody, but let's see at the end of the series if we can come up with just a few lines.
I did forget a reason for my passion, an important reason, and that is my children. The reason that drives me for the last 10 years or so, I guess, is the fact I've got 2 young girls who have fallen into my footsteps and are passionate about basketball also. They're great players. They're already better players than I ever was. So that is one reason why I'm passionate about it, giving them an opportunity to play and an arena to play. That's why I got into coaching. Yeah, so I must mention Madison and Georgia, superstars.
No, I think that's
like
fair. Don't all kids grow up to be better players than their parents? I certainly had a couple.
I think you're right there.
And I think also the environment for kids, from our own experience with our kids, just a fabulous cooperative environment to expose kids to.
I would agree.
Well, thanks, Darren. Thanks for that, and we'll document this, put it up, and see what happens.
Okay, it's a pleasure. Thank you.